Desmond's Flicks is made possible by the amazing support from the Patreon community. If you'd like to support the channel and keep it going, consider becoming a Patreon today. Link is in the description below. Plus, you get access to awesome perks. Now, let's get into the video. Hey everyone, welcome to another month of Patreon requested reviews. Yet again, my good friend Celise from Sweet and Spooky is here. Welcome back, Celise. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Folks, I've left a link to her channel in the description below, as well as a card above. The films that we're going to be talking about today are People Under the Stairs, Creepozoids, and Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. So as usual, we're going to be going into full-on spoilers for all of these films, so if you have not seen them and you want to check them out, be sure to pause the video now, check out the movies, and then come back. So with that said, let's get into our first film, which is The People Under the Stairs. This was requested by Patreon supporter Shauna, and it was released in 1991 and was directed by Wes Craven. It stars Brandon Adams, Everett McGill, Wendy Robbie, and AJ Langer. Celise, you had never seen this film until we watched it for this review. What did you think of it, and what were your overall thoughts?
So I wasn't really expecting anything because I didn't read the synopsis or anything, so I had no knowledge of what this film was going to be about. But I actually really enjoyed this movie a lot. I really loved the aesthetic. The early 90s aesthetic is great. Also, Wes Craven he's great in like storytelling. So I thought it was really good. There were some genuinely creepy moments in this movie, some really gross moments. And then there were moments that were funny. There was like great one-liners, especially from like our leading little kid, Fool. He was so good. And also another thing that was really funny was the guy's suit, which I'm sure we'll get to that at some point. But that like bondage situation, it was a lot. Overall, though, it's a solid movie. A lot of fun.
I can't be the only one who thinks of Pulp Fiction and the guy saying, "Bring out the gimp." The
Oh my
dudes.
god. Yeah. 100%. That part for me, I was just like, oh, what am I involved in right now?
It's pretty wild and off the wall.
It is. Also, like, the ending, like, it was awesome.
Yes, the ending was
The
pretty.
ending is awesome.
And the music too is that, early 90s.
Oh, yeah, it's so good. I love that so much. I was a little sad about Leroy, though. I was sad.
Ving Rhames, a very young Ving Rhames.
I love
before
him.
he did Pulp Fiction. So this is a movie that I saw in theaters as a kid. My folks took me to see this. It scared the shit out of me as a little kid. So I've seen this numerous times growing up, and the older I get, the more I appreciate it because of Wes Craven's sense of humor. He has this really wacky, dark sense of humor, and you can't help but laugh at some of the kooky stuff that he comes up with.
That's so true.
The mother and father, or brother and sister rather, they were fucking awesome. And they're also from Twin Peaks.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Sorry, I freaked out with that. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I like, for people who don't know me, obviously, that are listening, I just started watching Twin Peaks and I'm like really invested right now. So when I saw them, I was like, oh my God.
Their character acting and how gung-ho they get and how they'll run around the house, the father screaming, "Burn in hell! Burn in hell!"
It was really good. It was really good.
Just the two of them alone are worth seeing the movie because they're both so entertaining to watch. Just the way they look too, like the mother, her makeup, the hair.
Oh my gosh. Her eyebrows were wild. I like how like towards the end she was so beaten up that like her eyebrows were just like smudged off. It's like, she's looking rough.
So we've got Fool, Alice, and Roach. I thought that they were all really good, especially considering their ages.
Yeah, they all were really great. I really liked Roach. I know he was much older than the age he was playing. And so was, what is her name that plays Alice?
AJ Langer.
Yeah, I know she was like 17 playing a 12-year-old, so impressive. I believed it. And Roach was like really great, and I was sad to see him go.
And then everyone else under the stairs too, like the reveal of like who they are and why they're down there and how it's like they're basically just given random people just happen to go into this house. They go in and never come out.
Yeah, that was wild. The ending of the movie is really like, it's very satisfying. The ending. He got the money in the air and shit. Like everybody's just taking some money, and I'm like, you know what? We love to see it.
So, would you recommend or not recommend The People Under the Stairs, Celise?
I would highly recommend this movie. It's a lot of fun. I think it's a really fun late night watch too.
Yeah, same here. This is a recommend for me. This is one that I watch at least once a year. Our next film is Creepozoids, which is a request from John Stanton. It was released in 1987 and stars Linnea Quigley. The plot is set in the near distant future of 1998. 6 years after an apocalyptic nuclear war, a group of 5 U.S. Army deserters take refuge from acid rain in a seemingly abandoned laboratory complex in the ruins of Los Angeles. They soon discover that the lab was a top secret government research center where a hideous genetically engineered monster still lurks. All right, Celise, so what did you think of Creepozoids?
Wow. Okay. So I know John Stanton is going to listen to this. And John, you know I love you, boo. But I don't know why you recommended this film because it's really not a film. It's just like things happening. It makes no sense. I don't know why Linnea Quigley is here. The Creepozoids are, they're awful. There is so much talking about nothing that has nothing to do with the plot or the Creepozoids that this film is ultimately not a fun time. It is unbearable. I found myself struggling with Desmond to get through this film.
The film was shot in 15 days in a warehouse in Los Angeles. The budget was something like 150K. It was very ambitious, but they just didn't have the money for it, for what they wanted to do. There were some weird, like, kind of softcore porn Cinemax
Oh,
scenes.
I forgot about that. Why did you put that back in my brain? That was awful. Like, of course, we had to see Linnea Quigley's like very perfect boobs again, because you know when she's in it, of course you're gonna see her boobs.
That made the film better.
It did.
She's in here and we get to see some boobies. All right. Thumbs up. But then she's not even the final character. She gets killed off screen. We just see like the bottom half. We just see her feet as she's getting her head eaten off.
That was lame.
It's like, why are you gonna have Linnea Quigley in your movie and not have her be like the main heroine? And instead, we get like that random dude. Celise is now rolling her head with a very small jade stress roller on her forehead, which I had mistakenly thought was a razor. And I asked her, Celise, why are you shaving your forehead? To which she responded, "This is from my stress."
Yes, because when I have to watch a film as bad as this, like if you're gonna do bad, if you're gonna do B movie, do it. Do it. I love B movies. If you watch my channel, you know I love B movies. I love Velocipaster. I love things killing, and that movie is awful. But like, do it right. Like, make it funny. This wasn't. I'm stressed because it was bad, and I don't want to like be mean, but this is just one of the ones that it's trash, not in a good way.
I have to agree, and I really wanted to like this movie. I really wanted to because I was like, it's low budget, it's got Linnea Quigley in it, it's like a creature feature. At least the creature stuff will be awesome. At least that will be great, or at least funny. But it was neither of those things. There
Yes.
really is, like Celise said, no plot. It's just characters meandering around a warehouse and trying to stay away from acid rain. But then when we actually do see the creature, it just looks like a guy in like a trash bag. I don't know. It just looked like
I know.
trash.
Yeah, it didn't even look cool, honestly. Like, it's okay if it was like low budget or whatever, and like, I feel like they didn't even try with the design of the Creepozoid in general. Not a fun watch. Really, it drags a lot. It could have been much shorter than it was.
72 minutes, not even like
Oh,
three
you know
acts
what?
long enough.
That's telling because this movie felt like it was like 2 hours long.
I mean, I think we can guess what we're both going to say as far as recommendations. But Celise, would you recommend or not recommend Creepozoids?
Gonna be a no for me. I honestly forgot about this movie until Desmond brought it up during this. So it's gonna be a no.
It's a no for me as well. I like bad movies, bad horror movies. It wasn't fun. And it's not even that fun to tear apart because nothing happens. There's not really much I remember except that Linnea Quigley was in it. There was like a really bad monster, and there was like this baby thing on the ground, like sliding around. That's about it. And now we're getting into our last movie, which is Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. And this was requested by Scott. This was released in 1988 and is directed by Fred Olen Ray and stars yet again Linnea Quigley and Gunnar Hansen, also known as Leatherface. The plot is about a private detective named Jack Chandler who goes to try and track down a teenage runaway played by Linnea Quigley. He runs into a cult of Egyptian chainsaw worshipping prostitutes led by the Master, who's played by Gunnar Hansen. So, Celise, what did you think of Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers?
Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers was a lot of fun. I love Linnea Quigley, obviously. She was great in it, but my queen in this movie, I was just looking up her name, Michelle Bauer, who plays Mercedes, was everything. She was
Her facial expression
everything.
was
Yeah,
amazing.
she was a spooky bad bitch. She was iconic. Honestly, the movie is a lot of fun. It's like the acting is very over the top, but it's all like on purpose to be extra and stupid and funny, and it works.
Totally agree. It was a lot of fun to watch with you and Melissa because we were laughing the entire time.
We were, yeah. The dialogue in this movie is so funny.
It's really, really funny.
It is. It's so ridiculous in the best way.
The entire cast, you could tell that everyone was in on the joke. Everyone was having a great time and knew exactly what movie they were making. They made Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers in 5.5 days.
That's incredible, actually.
For what they got done, yeah.
Yeah, actually, I'm like really impressed by that. I'm not even being sarcastic. That's really awesome. In 5.5 days, they made a full feature film.
Gunnar Hansen, he's the leader of this cult, which just makes the film even that much better. Because it's like, we all know that he's Leatherface. You can just tell that he's eating it up and having a fucking great time.
I also really loved his look. Like, he had the thick chain and the cool jacket on.
He was very ominous.
Yeah, it was great.
And the budget for this was $50,000. And Quentin Tarantino loves this movie.
That makes so much sense. That just makes so much sense. If you know Quentin Tarantino and watch his movies, that makes a lot of sense.
This was one of those movies where you get a bunch of friends together, have drinks, whatever, and just watch and have a fun time with. I'm reading here on IMDb that some of the hooker extras in the background might have been actual prostitutes. The director said that the girls were chosen off the street and drank all the rap beer on set before they left.
Yes! Icons! We love to see it. We love to see it. Oh my god. I love to see that. You know what? That makes me really happy.
I can just picture it. They're like, oh shit, look at all this free beer. Fuck it. I'm
Yeah, like
all this shit.
yes, get yours, boo. Come on. They
I love that
deserve
they
it.
just
They
cleared
work
them out.
hard. Yeah. They have a hard job.
I also really liked the detective. He was fucking hilarious. The way that he delivered his lines, the way that he would like kind of slightly tip his hat, type of detective, gumshoe. I loved it. I loved every second of it. So for you, Celise, would you recommend or not recommend Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers?
This is a movie I would definitely recommend. I would definitely have this on a B horror movie list. It was a lot of fun, a great late night watch, and also my girl Mercedes slaying the game. You have to watch it. It's a lot of fun.
Definitely a recommend from me for Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. Tons of fun. So, with that said, those were our 3 Patreon requested reviews. Thank you again to Shauna, John, and Scott for requesting these movie reviews. If you'd like to request a movie for us to review on Desmond's Flicks, become a Patreon today. There's a link in the description below, and become a producer or executive producer. I also want to thank yet again Celise for joining me.
Of course, I always have a great time. It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thanks everyone, and I'll see you on the next video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It helps out the channel a ton. Thank you so much for coming by, and I'll see you guys on the next video.